I had actually given GRE in 2016 or 17. Came to know that maximum schools that are offering programs in management, they are asking for GMAT score. Crackverbal was something that I found Arun sir's videos. I decided that this is like suits me well. My journey GMAT training with Crackverbal was a very wholesome experience.
So maybe you can just walk me through your background and what do you do and a little bit about yourself to begin with.
My name is Idris. I have done my BTech in civil engineering in 2016, and since then I've worked in a couple of PSUs. Currently working in Indian Oil Corporation as assistant manager in operations and maintenance department. And the basic motive of my the decision that I took to do an MBA, to start my MBA journey, was when I decided that I want to switch the careers, because in PSUs basically the growth and the career trajectory is not as lucrative as we see in the private sector, like in the technology sector. So that was the time that when I decided that I have to finally give my GMAT, and I was basically targeting the Indian B schools, ABC and ISB.
What was the process that you followed when you went through the whole GMAT research part?
I had actually given GRE in 2016 or 17, and the initial confusion was whether I should give GRE or GMAT. But then after researching about the B schools in India as well as in abroad, I came to know that maximum schools that are offering programs in management, they are asking for GMAT score. Like many of them ask for GRE as well, they accept GRE equally as well, but maximum of the schools, they ask for GMAT. So I decided to go for GMAT, and then I saw many of the, I reviewed many of the coachings that offer GMAT training. And Crackverbal was something that I found Arun sir's videos and the videos which were there available on the YouTube. I decided that this is suits me well, the kind of teaching which is there at Crackverbal, and it proved the same. My journey GMAT training with Crackverbal was a very wholesome experience. So in the beginning, I started doing the OG guide, solving the OG guide, because the main key I found while preparing for GMAT is that you need to gauge the level of questions that GMAT asks you to do. There is an endless, the limit is endless, that what type of questions or what level of difficulty you can do. But then the GMAT has a specific level of difficulty, and you need to just go to that, you need to reach that level, or maybe just a few bits beyond, not too much. After doing my OG questions, initially I found the questions are quite easy. Being from the engineering background, I've done my engineering, I found the Quant questions are quite easy. Obviously the verbal was quite difficult because we are not conversant solving those type of questions, but Quant was quite easy. So I used to think that I should do more difficult questions, but then almost 2 months into my preparation, I gave my first official mock, and I got a decent score of 730. So I thought that maybe and the Quant questions were of the same level that I was doing in the OG guide. So I thought that maybe I should continue doing these type of questions only, not quite raise the bar of difficulty. The verbal questions are what they are. They are difficult. So this was my first official mock that I gave, and then after that I started doing the verbal and Quant review. And by the time I was almost finishing my Quant and verbal review, I was at the point that I gave the second official mock. And similarly, before my GMAT exam, a few weeks before, I gave the third and fourth official mock. So this was my entire journey. And in the end, I also tried to do the advanced guide questions as much as possible.
Right. So how much time were you spending in your preparation along with your job? How much time were you putting in on weekdays and how much on weekends? How were you doing this?
Yeah, so on average, I think I used to spend 1 or 2 hours on the weekdays, and on weekends, almost 3 to 4 hours.
You mentioned that Quant was something you were anyway comfortable with. Verbal, yeah. What was your main point? And, some people say that I will start with sentence correction because that something is very easy, or you start with reading comprehension because you find that easy. What part of it was easier or tough for you, and what was your strategy when you're looking at verbal, especially because that was your pain point?
Yeah, it was my pain point, and basically, what I found in verbal is that my weakest section was critical reasoning. I don't know. I didn't get that much of like conversant to solving those type of questions. Sentence correction, I think people may find it most easy because it's quite logical. It has a set of rules which usually when you follow it, you are able to solve the questions. Though there are some aberrations, but the rules do apply to sentence correction. In critical reasoning, it's nothing like that. And many of the times it's just an elimination game. You have to eliminate the most of the options and then maybe even guess out of the two best options left. So because in that given 1 minute 45 seconds, you are not able to analyze the entire argument to its entirety. So I found critical reasoning most challenging, and then reading comprehension is something which came very natural. Like it does come very natural to us because we have this habit of reading the articles and all that kind of thing. But still, there are certain tips that Dipankar sir gave me while preparing for the reading comprehension, like you have to read critically, and all those things do come handy.
What is the main difference between having mentors as part of your journey versus maybe doing it yourself? What was a difference in the approach that you saw, or even in the kind of motivation that is required to sustain for 4 months, especially when you're preparing?
Yeah, so what I found a difference, like when I prepared for GRE, that was entirely done on my own. And this time when I gave GMAT, I decided that I'll have some formal mentoring. So what I realized that they try to help you gain the insight of the exam. Like GMAT is quite a logical exam. It's not something which is like you just go, you prepare for 4 months and go and give it. There's a lot of logic that on the day itself, how your frame of mind is, all those factors, they do play a role. So they try to give me that insight that how you can think as logically as possible while attempting the questions. Like for the sentence correction also, why I used to sit with Dipankar sir and try to make him solve the question that I got wrong, because I wanted to get an insight of how he is solving the question, because he has got this thing that he knows how I need to approach. So that kind of approach is required that we need to have while solving the verbal questions. And similarly in the Quant questions, as an engineering student, I used to apply a lot of formulas and try to solve it as analytically as possible. But then what Devmitra ma'am said, you try to think as logically as possible, because GMAT questions are not designed in a way that they want to test your maths ability. They just want to test your logic, that whether you can apply a very simple situation is given, and you have to just without any big calculation, you have to solve it using pure logic. So and there is a lot of elimination, because GMAT is most about elimination. It's not about selection. You need not know the right answer, but you should know about the wrong answers. So that is something that they helped me to develop a thought process around that.
Another thing Devmitra mentioned that, more from a Quant, you got a Quant 50, right?
Yeah.
Right. And still you saw that you had done quite a few mistakes on the Quant part. Any learnings or any insights on when you were taking the test, what was going on your mind, and when you were doing, say, the Quant part or the verbal part?
Yeah, so this thing I had discussed with my mentors also, and with Arun sir also. Like while during the test, you should isolate yourself from the thought that how you are performing on the exam. Like during the Quant, obviously I was feeling I am performing very nice because the level of questions was increasing. I was finding very hard questions at the end. So, but then it is a kind of deviation, because of that I lost the track. Maybe if you are stuck at some question, you should just leave it and go to the next question. And apart from, and in verbal, I was just as I told that I had that ripple effect from the Quant. So during that time, I was thinking continuously कि मेरा Quant बिगड़ गया, my Quant was bad, and that had a kind of this a devastating effect that I was not able to think maybe that clearly during the verbal. So although the verbal was like not quite difficult, they were of the same level of difficulty. Questions were of same level that I had solved in my preparation phase.
Right.
So yeah, it has the state of your mind, what you think during the test. It does play a major role.
All the best for your application process. Let us know if you need any help.